Everybody loves dads, stories, and the Marine Corps. What could be better than Marine Corps dads who tell stories? Here's another story with veteran storyteller John Sugar Jr., a Marine Corps dad.
Tonight's story is partly a story that you have heard before. Maybe you have heard the story of the three little pigs. The pig who built his house out of straw. The pig who built his house out of sticks. And lastly, the pig who built his house out of bricks. And you've heard of the big bad wolf who tried to eat the little pigs and couldn't get into the last house, but you've never heard the story of the fourth little pig. Once upon a time, there was a fourth little pig. And he was not like his brothers. When the other three little pigs went into nice neighborhoods and built their homes, the fourth little pig went into the forest. Now, Mama Pig always used to say, "Don't go into the forest, because that is where the big bad wolf lives, and lions and bears, oh my." And the three little pigs, they listened, but the fourth little pig didn't listen. And the fourth little pig learned to hunt. The fourth little pig loved guns. He loved all his guns. He had all kinds of guns. He had rifles, he had pistols, he had shotguns, he had grenades, he had everything.
He had laser guns?
And lasers. And he went into the forest and built his little house out of guns.
Yeah.
His front door, 3 AK-47s put together. His doorbell was the sound of a bullet going off. His ceiling was made from M16s. He had a basement full of ammunition. And he went into the forest, hung out his little pig shingle, and waited. Sure enough, just like Mama Pig said, the big bad wolf showed up to the fourth little pig's door. And honestly, the big bad wolf was a little confused by what he saw, because it's not every day you see a house built out of guns. But the big bad wolf said to himself, "I'm the big bad wolf. Arr, arr, and I can take anything." And so he went up to the little house, and he said, little pig, let me..." He heard a little sound, and he looked down at his feet and saw one little pin had been pulled out of something on the ground, and his foot had broken a tripwire. And he said, "Arr?" And the Claymore landmine that the fourth little pig placed there blew the big bad wolf back into the forest. Arr! And he ran into the forest on fire. Arr! And he jumped into the river. Arr! Because his fur was singed. And the fourth little pig walked out with his rifle, and he said, "Y'all come back now, you hear?" And so the big bad wolf called a meeting with the big bad lion, the big bad tiger, and the big bad bears. And they all got together, and they got all their friends, and they got all their cousins, and they got all their relatives, and they got all their people, and they got them all together. And there was a whole army of big bads, and they were going for the fourth little pig. And the fourth little pig wasn't worried at all. And so on they came towards his house. Ah! And all the landmines in his yard started going off. A tiger went that way. The big bad wolf took it to the face. And the fourth little pig got behind his machine gun and started shooting. And all the lions, the tigers, the bears, and the wolves, and all the bad guys, they kept trying to get to the fourth little pig, but he kept shooting him. And I know exactly. And miles away, the three little pigs kept hearing. And they were like, oh man, is that our brother? I think it is. Ooh. And back at the fourth little pig's house, he was shooting him. And the wolf went, oh! And the fourth little pig, he jumped for the fourth little pig. And the fourth little pig dove out of his machine gun nest and grabbed a rope. And the big bad wolf said, ow. And the rope pulled the fourth little pig up into an attack helicopter. And he went and shooting down, and there was missiles. And all of the big bad lions and the big bad tigers and the big bad bears and all the big bad wolves died. Because the fourth little pig said, went into their woods, set up his house, and when they came for him, he was ready. That is the story of the fourth little pig.
That was another story with John Sugar Jr., a Marine Corps dad. Check the show notes for links to his Patreon and website at creativegrumbles.com.